So I've asked myself, how did this community, this town, end up having the world's largest bocce federation? Well, if you grew up here or have lived here for many years, it makes perfect sense. Bocce is made for Martinez. It's a small, close-knit community with generations of large families, many of Italian heritage. The roots run very deep here. You can't go to places like the farmer's market without seeing folks you know. There's just an old Main Street USA vibe here. The 4th of July parade, homecoming parade, the parade for youth baseball. I love this town. Martinez truly is a community made for bocce.
The rich history of Martinez has left behind many buildings and monuments to remind us of our past. As county seat of Contra Costa, this city was home to the courthouse, restaurants, theaters, and shopping. Areas of our downtown remain a living tribute to that history. The Strenzel mansion that became home to John Muir put Alhambra Valley and Martinez on the world map. On their way to San Francisco in 1860, the Pony Express changed horses here. And 14 years later, Martinez introduced the martini. At the same time, across town, the Italian fishing community was flourishing. Their fishing boats lined Alhambra Creek from Granger's Wharf to the Carquinez Straits. The long list of Italian names included the name of Giuseppe DiMaggio, father of Joe DiMaggio.
Freddie was a skinny guy. That's Charlie.
No,
Look at that
Charlie
big sturgeon. Look at the sturgeon he's got in there. You see it?
Charlie was skinny.
You know what? You're right. That is Freddie.
Romeo at the end.
Romeo at the end.
The next one was that Bruno.
No, the next one was Tutti Duzzo. Leo's.
No, this was by ours, by your dad.
No. Tutti Duzzo was down there. Then there was my grandfather.
Oh.
Then there was Red Aiello Blaiche. Ike's father. What was his name?
Augustino.
Augustino.
Yeah.
Then there was our doc.
Then my dad.
Then your dad's doc. Then next to him was Niji.
As the boats and gill nets were an essential part of their livelihood, the game of bocce ball was an inherent part of their culture. Where the Italians went, so went bocce.
My great-grandfather built the first court in this town. He basically, I guess they say he brought bocce here, but I think he had the most space to build a court, so they put it there. And I still do live in Martinez as well. My dad was with Matt's dad, helping start the whole thing, and they were the board before there was a board even.
Were you ever on the board of directors?
I was, way at the beginning. Way at the beginning.
Wow.
We used to meet over Sparazzino.
Yeah.
Over the deli.
Yeah.
Italian influence may have started with fishing, but quickly spread to every aspect of Martinez life. Fish markets, liquor stores, restaurants, bakeries, shoe repair, banking, the mayor's office, and of course winemaking. But the ban on gillnet fishing in the late 1950s was a crushing blow to a fishing community with over 80 years of history. Many fishermen followed their trade to Alaska or San Diego, or left fishing altogether. Their boats, arks, ice houses, and fish markets quickly disappeared. Granger's Wharf was abandoned.
Nancy took a walk. She come in there, people would bring garbage, and they would dump in the Thule's, and they just dumping garbage everywhere. It was just garbage everywhere. She come down there with a league of women.
Nancy Fadden called me and asked me if I'd come and join a group of women. And she was going to have a meeting to get a group of us together. And I wasn't quite certain what we were discussing, but I was always inspired, impressed with Nancy Fadden. And so I went to the meeting, and that was the beginning of Women for the Waterfront. So she set up a Saturday. We all came down there, and I believe that's when you joined us too. And we went and cleaned up all this creek stuff.
So somehow or another, Nancy, in her will, she's pretty motivated to get things going. She got a hold of Shell, got a hold of Bizio, the garbage company, and she went somewhere and got these Saturday kids that were writing off tickets and stuff like that. And they came down there and cleaned that place up.
Nancy would stop at nothing to ensure success of the waterfront. She organized the placement of cable reels to serve as tables, and she would host parties and events at the shoreline. She and her son Anton would protect and encourage varieties of birds in the estuary to present the area as a thriving wildlife sanctuary, worthy of protection at a time when proposed water diversion from the delta was threatening the shoreline with saltwater incursion.
You know, she was a very large figure in local politics for a long time, and was known as someone that could get things done. She wasn't just warming a seat.
There was a man across the street, Grossi, and every day I see him leaving. And I said, "Where are you going every day?" He said, "I go in Concord, play bocce." Oh. So one day I just went down over there and I saw what they was doing. Then when I come back, I talked to Uncle Paul. Uncle Paul talked to Nancy Fadden and find a place to make the court. And that was the Granger Wharf.
Us women were getting excited about, what's bocce ball? Let's find out about it and stuff. And she said, "I'm going home and I'm calling Paul Pagnini and Sante Seri." And that was the beginning of the bocce area, when women could be included.
So in your women's group, did you smoke cigars, cuss, and exclude the men? Just a
No,
thought. You had
I
a
don't-
chance to get equal.
1973, I was a senior in high school. Alan DeFrega, the late Alan DeFrega, close friend of our family, he would later become my law partner, told me about the plan to play some bocce ball in Martinez. And I remember I rode with Alan in his old blue Mustang convertible. We went to Big Five Sporting Goods when it was on Willow Pass Road in Concord and bought a set of bocce balls. Had no idea what was going on, what it was. But anyway, I knew Nancy well. She and a number of other ladies had formed Women of the Waterfront. The Women of the Waterfront were in great despair about the condition down in the marsh area and had done a major cleanup of the Granger's Wharf area and ultimately discovered two old bocce courts that had thought to have been used like 60, 70 years prior, maybe longer.
I remember I was on the city council, and Nancy and the Women for the Waterfront organized a Columbus Day get-together down there at Granger's Park. I don't know if you remember that or
Oh,
not.
you got a good memory.
And so many of us gathered down there, and they just celebrated whatever they had done. It was a little bit of a community gathering.
It was Columbus Day, and Mike DiMaggio brought Paul Pagnini dressed as Columbus up the creek. The bridge wasn't there yet. Up the creek, he gets off. This is America, whatever that we did. Then we had a bocce ball tournament and stuff, and he cheated.
He or they?
No, Leonard's team cheated.
We're documenting the history of the Martinez Bocce Federation, and in doing so, I found out a lot that I didn't know about this group, and one of the best facts that I found out is that this whole thing was started by a woman. So this is her picture to my right, Nancy Fadden. So I'm proud to announce today that from this day forward, this tournament will be named after Nancy Fadden.
But you started there. Yeah. 6 courts over there, right?
No,
That was 4. Yeah. The first there was
and
2,
they were
then
wood,
2.
and they were really high. You had to step into them.
Yeah, yeah.
My dad built those courts. My dad and my uncle Sante.
So Sante's your uncle.
Yeah.
Okay, we interviewed him for the film.
Oh, did you?
And
Yeah.
it's just a joy to talk to him.
He's what a historian.
So that's your uncle. Oh my God, that's
major historian.
yeah.
Yeah.
You or others, someone you know, have history adequate to go to the exact locations of those courts? Was it just plowed under, or is there any remnants of any of that?
There's a bridge in that area, I believe, so it would be tough. I think because of what they did to the marsh and the structure of the creek.
So if they started in this area and there were 2 rows of courts,
60 feet long.
and so those courts would have been sitting out in what is marsh now. They've had to regrade
This
this.
one's still here, and this is the one we're looking at.
Yes.
Okay, this is the one we're looking at right there.
Okay. So the old
But
courts would have
we're
been
back here.
Okay.
Okay, because this is the cannery. Here's Granger's Wharf Road. Here's the cannery. This is all the cannery back here, and we're back here. So we're looking at this side of the building.
Yeah. Because we're here.
Yeah, they don't know where the lumber came from. They just know it showed up.
I hauled the material in there for the start of that. Was Nancy Fadden asked me to. And then I even got the material from her, donated by Kaiser in Clayton. Quarter by dust. We put 2 loads of quarter by dust. That's 25, 50 ton.
Wow.
So who helped you build the first courts?
Saki. One guy named Saki.
Richard Saki.
Mr. Saki. You better be away from him because he spit all the time. Yeah, Mr. Saki had a little jeep with a little scoop, and he came down over there and he dug the thing.
Sport for the 1990s. You may not know very much about it, but it is an obsession, at least in one California town. Here's Douglas Kiker. Martinez likes to call itself the bocce ball capital of the United States. Bocce ball. Isn't that the game old Italian men play while they drink wine and smoke cigars?
It is very inexpensive to play, and frankly, it's the only game that the entire family can play together. We have teams that are comprised of 4 generations of one family.
You don't think that Joltin' Joe, his very own self, once played bocce here in Martinez, do you?
I think there can be little question of that.
A big part of the growth of the sport, and of course our program here, is due to Ken Dote and Donna Allen. Once things got rolling down at Granger's Wharf, they started coming down, and Ken was a council member of Martinez, and Donna was, I believe, on the planning commission. And they were the perfect people at the right time and in the right place to bring things to the next level.
He and Donna both, but he, certainly he principally, great promoter of the sport, wanted to grow it. But I think, again, back to the people involved, if I had to think about what really was the ultimate attraction for Ken and Donna, it was the fact that in every one of these wonderful venues they went, it's the people, right? They were so vitally interacting with all the people, involved and the personalities, lifelong friendships.
We started traveling, I think it was 1985. We had never traveled anywhere. And then the president of the USBF called Ken and explained that he would not be able to be the head of the delegation taking the team to Yugoslavia. Could he do it? And Ken said yes. And then he hung up, and then he went and got the atlas to see if where he thought Yugoslavia was really where it was. That's when it was still Yugoslavia. That was in an arena that housed a minimum 10,000 people. It was handled very much like the Olympics. You know, you went out, somebody was carrying the flag of your country, had your name, they played your national anthem. It was very emotional and just not anything that we ever had expected. We were in a small town in Italy one time too, and I swear the parade went down one of these meandering cobblestone streets, people hanging out the windows. The referee and the local Asti media, 603 men and me. To this day, I will remember taking that ball and just praying, let it be respectable.
Ken, as president of the United States Bocce Federation, and Donna pursued a quest to find, visit, and befriend bocce teams wherever they could be found.
Crockett, Concord, Vallejo, Andrino, Grass Valley, Hopland, Healdsburg, Calistoga, Sacramento, St. Helena, Sutter Creek, Napa, Valley Ford, Strawberry, Rio Vista, Stockton, Antioch, Brentwood, Richmond, Moraga, San Francisco, Oakland, South San Francisco, Pleasant, San Mateo, Santa Cruz, Monterey.
I think they single-handedly, dual-handedly had the role in growing the sport nationally. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Templeton, Buell, Santa Barbara, Pasadena, Glendale, Los Angeles, Santa Monica, Venice, Downey, Torrance, Long Beach, Irvine, Vista, Poway, San Diego, St. Paul, Minnesota, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. In Illinois, it's Round Lake, Memphis, Tennessee, Little Rock, Arkansas, and New Orleans, Louisiana, and Utica, Rome, Amsterdam, New York City, and Perth Amboy, Palmdale, Freehold, Highlands, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Lakewood, Long Branch, New Jersey, Ocean Grove, Bradley Beach, Ocean Township, Asbury Park, Mazatlan, Mexico, Buenos Aires and Mendoza, Valparaiso, Chile, Melbourne, Australia, Montreal, Canada, Gap, France, Milan, Saluzzo, and Sardinia, Monte Carlo in Italy, San Lugano, Switzerland, and Split, Yugoslavia, which is now Croatia, Warsaw, Poland, Xi'an, China.
Well, it's been 3 or 4 days since we've heard the news that Ken has passed.
Yeah, it was really sad news at Ken's passing. It brought back a flood of memories, I'm sure, not just for me, but everybody who was ever involved and knew Ken, knew the history of the Federation. So it's really an important moment to document a lot of these stories and discussions with folks, particularly in light of his passing.
So sadly, we were preparing to interview Ken Dote, and he was had some health issues, and unfortunately, tragically, he did not get to tell his story on camera for this movie, and just a shame.
Cleanup day, April 20th. It's a Saturday before Easter, 9 o'clock in the morning. Keith Machado and I will be with Rocky organizing people. The two main things we have to do, we have new shade structures coming out. So we have to put those out. It's a big job. 2 days before the season starts. Yeah, some painting. We always have painting. The city did all the landscaping around. We don't need any trimming or raking really. That's already been done by the city. We need people with cordless screw guns. That's the biggest need right now, is we need an army of cordless screw guns down there to screw these shade structures together. So that's, again, April 20th, 9 in the morning.
Look official.
Oh, fabulous.
a fabulous turnout. I think we've got more hands than we have tasks. So yeah, fabulous. The MBF at its best. Absolutely. The MBF is completely run by volunteers, and they are the heart and soul of the group. Each and every year, right before opening day, we have a cleanup day, and it's a chance for those not on the board of directors to give back a bit to the group. Mostly they come to paint the benches and tables, but this year we had an especially large turnout to help with the new shade structures. When I mentioned we needed power drills, I was pretty confident more than a few shade tree mechanics would show up, and as expected, they arrived in force and put the structures up in record time. And I was there to supervise, of course. "30 shade structures, 3 hours, 20 minutes, mission accomplished."
It actually,
I'm just announcing. You can read off that, I guess. They should have already known, right? Haven't they come and looked?
Can we deliver? Do you want to just bring them to them? Oh,
I guess you could.
Yeah.
Okay, our commissioner, Greg Travers, is going to be coming, strolling through the courts, handing out your official score sheets for these games. So make sure you're on your correct courts. Get ready to play. It's almost 9.
Good luck to you. Have fun. Good bocce today. Good luck to you. All right, all passed out.
Buona fortuna.
On July 27th and 28th, the MBF and CK Mondavi Family Wines held the first annual commemorative cup. With the generous $3,000 first prize from Mondavi, the event attracted over 30 teams from all over the state. The event honors those who have served the Federation and passed away. The prize money brought many new faces and a very high level of talent to Martinez. The top 8 win prize money, with the 8th place getting the entry fee back.
This might work. Attaboy, bud.
Despite the overall light atmosphere, make no mistake, these teams are serious and all show up intent on winning first place.
Backyard Bocce will be playing on court 15.
Get it! Oh! Stay. Yeah, baby. Stay. Got it. Stay. That's the point, baby.
So where are y'all from?
Lompoc.
Lompoc.
And then this group is from more southern California, and we play in 10 cities down there. Once a month, we have a tournament down there.
Really?
In 10 cities.
10 cities?
Yes.
LA to San Diego, there's a league, basically.
And you guys are from?
Monterey.
Monterey?
Sacramento.
Sacramento?
Stockton.
Yeah. Napa Valley.
Oh, why sponsor us? See?
Oh. Nice.
And your accent makes you very credible in the game, too.
Yeah,
I was born in Sicily.
Yeah, I was going to take a wild shot. Yeah.
You can't argue with the accent if he's telling you about bocce.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You don't argue with them now.
That's from Calabria. What the hell? I'm from cities from Calabria. You know what Calabria is?
I know the area, yeah.
It's the bottom of the boot, and he boot me out to the island of Sicily.
Yeah. We didn't like the way he made the olive oil.
My mom was a good man.
This is the Pittsburgh bunch. Great weather right now. And Pittsburgh, Antioch. Antioch and Pittsburgh. We don't want to be associated. Oh yeah.
We don't want to associate with you either. Move your chair that way.
This is how they go to a tournament. They got their rolling cocktail party.
A show of hands, how many people have played in national tournaments here? Look at this. How many people have played internationally? See, it just hit me. I'm looking at these guys.
Nationally?
What's that?
How many places?
How many placed nationally? How many took home hardware? Oh, there you go.
If he didn't win it, he stole it.
Oh, well, yeah. Don't forget Martha. Yeah. Bronze this year, yeah. There's a lot of bocce knowledge under this canopy right now.
Oh, it is. You know, being retired, it gets me out of the house. I play in 4 different leagues. There's a lot of good people that play this sport. You know,
We're from Southern California.
Ah, where in Southern California?
San Pedro, Torrance, Downey.
All right. And what's your league like down there? What do you guys got going on?
We have about a 9-team circuit from San Diego to LA that we play.
All tournament?
Yeah, tournaments, and then we play South Bay or Torrance, South Bay, Hawthorne, and Downey all
Southern
crossover and play each other all the time.
Greg, can you introduce yourself to the viewing public?
My name is Greg Chan. I'm the commissioner of Concord Bocce Federation. So
welcome.
So Greg and Greg, and we've been working together for a while, and
So as a potential rival, you're not going to come here to stir something up.
I give it time. If it's worthwhile, why not? You bet.
Okay, I'm Ron Jacobs. I'm president of the Western Sector of the United States Bocce Federation.
So yeah, he's competing at a very high level nationally, and you've competed internationally, right?
Yeah. I've been to Brazil.
And where are your home courts? Where do you play?
In Stockton, California.
In Stockton.
Yeah. By lunch on the second day, 8 teams remain for the semifinals. Later on Court 1, ABA and the Sopranos battle for the top prize. Wow. Oh. Nice try. Yeah. As is often the case, it was a close, exciting final, with the game tied 7-7 at the midpoint.
If you have to go through here, then just lag. Get out of the way. It's a big gap, eh? Thank you. Hey, what? We could have had 2. Yeah, hey.
ABA then pulled away at the very end for the 12-9 victory. In bocce, win or lose, everyone shakes hands. Often a hug is given when a handshake just won't do.
Thank you. Oh boy. Oh boy.
All right. Put the wine down. It's not Mondani. Put the wine down. It's not Mondani.
Fabulous. Good bocce. Good bocce.
The Martinez Court Complex is the largest in the world with 15 courts. They are each 85 feet long and 12 feet wide. The courts are surfaced with heavily compacted oyster shell on a decomposed granite base. The game starts with the toss of a coin. The winner chooses the Polino or the color of the balls used, in this case red or green. The Polino is tossed over the midpoint line shown in red. The player who tosses the Polino establishes the first point, taking care to stay behind the throw line, here also shown in red. The next player, green, rolls closer than the red, thereby establishing a green point. Red must now roll to recapture the point, which it does. The following green ball stops outside the red ball. Green must throw again. Green is now closest, and a red must now roll. As you can see, the balls may contact each other and or the Polino at any time. The last two rolls result in no change to the green point, 1 green. Martinez plays what's called dead back wall. This means if any ball strikes the back wall for any reason, it is removed from the court. At the end of the frame, there are 2 green balls closer than any other red ball, resulting in 2 green points. Teams keep score via a scoreboard with 2 colored clips. In this scenario, with 1 red ball left, the red player goes for broke, displaces the green ball, and it results in 1 red point.
Volo, a variation of bocce, is played with 2 teams of 4 players, each player having 2 brass balls with distinctive markings. A coin toss determines the team color, red or green, and who throws the Polino or P first.
Most people that play Volo in our league are folks that have played for years and years and years and definitely know both games, both open and Volo.
The court differs from bocce in that the P must land within the box marked on the court walls in green. Also, the foul line of bocce is moved forward to the green marks in Volo. Each player's pair of balls has distinctive markings and shades. This has no significance in the game, but allows each person to take their personal balls home with them at the end of the day. What is significant are marks scratched onto the court. A ball with 2 straight lines or a ball with a straight line and a straight line with a hook. Those lines become necessary to track team balls when the court is congested with a total of 16.
Also, I think with Volo is there's so many more balls on the court. So you have 2 teams of 4, just like you do in open, but everyone throws 2 balls. Every person on each team throws 2 balls, but you all throw them from the same end, and then you switch ends. So there's, instead of having 8 balls thrown from one end, you have 16. So if you're one of the last people throwing, you may have to potentially navigate your ball through 15 other balls to try to get it to the Polino, okay?
Scratch marks distinguish green from red. As determined by the coin toss before this particular game, green balls have a hook, while red balls have 2 straight lines. If a ball is knocked from position by another, the stick is used to determine the distance traveled. In this case, the ball stops within that distance and therefore remains. In this play, the green ball is closest to the P for a point. A green ball displaces another and moves it further than the stick. The red team now takes its option to return green to its original position and discard the ball that was thrown.
And return.
This is where Volo gets a little crazy, shooting.
You also get the shooting in Volo, right? So in Volo, the shooting, you know, where you throw the ball up in the air and you have to land within 1.5 meters of the Polino. That is extremely difficult because you have to not only throw it in a way that the line is right, but you have to judge the distance and where it lands.
The shooter identifies his target ball, and an arc is drawn around it using a stick. After the targeted ball is encircled, the shooter, while standing behind the foul line, must throw the ball through the air, completely across the court, and landing within the circle. In a perfect world, it looks like this.
And about 18 years ago, we started coming down here and playing bocce with mom and dad and friends. And about 10, 11 years ago, we thought this would be a great venue for the Colombo Club. So we've been doing 2 of these a year for about 10 years. 1,000 members in the club. We have 105 players today. Some of the Martinez Bocce Federation folks, so we advertise there. Some of them come and join us. So. But we max out at about 120 to 125 players, so we're close. We have people already talking about next June, because we do one typically in June and one in August. And it's a happening place. And we were born and raised here, and my dad, who passed away at 96, was born and raised here, so we're old Martinez.
If you win a lot, expect to buy a number of times while the other teams catch up to you. Otherwise, double elimination, some of you.
My favorite events.
Why the Colombo Club?
Colombo Club because it's all the paisans, the pasta, it's the best food of any tournament.
Okay.
And just a great bunch of guys. In fact, that's the one. If you're on the board, and you want to open up. You basically just unlock the clubhouse for these guys. They got it down to a science. They're off and running. They know the drill, and just a bunch of great guys. Part of my journey with this whole thing is meeting these people that are just really just want to help. They're there. The fellowship. I keep saying fellowship, sportsmanship, and that's kind of the payoff of this whole thing.
When you're ready.
15. These are 15. We're waiting.
Okay, so give me courts, please.
Okay, Florence. Florence is
right here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I lost my count.
It's not a court.
I'm a proud member of the Colombo Club and a past president. I was president 2011 and 2012, and now I am lucky enough to be the House Committee Chairman of the Colombo Club, which I run everyday aspects, the employees, the whole function of the club.
And where is that club?
Colombo Club is in Oakland, California. We were incorporated in 1920, and now we're going to turn 100 years next August.
What is the criteria to be a member?
Well, you have to be of Italian descent, although we bring in 10% non-Italian also. And we're lucky enough this year, we're going to have our Italian picnic just right next door. All the clubs of the East Bay, and there's 14 Italian clubs in the East Bay. We're going to be right next door next Saturday, August 31st, and celebrating Italian heritage.
You mixed up Siciliano, you calibrated.
There you go, 2 for $1.
Crazy with the down the wall, Italian dollar. 81.
It's only 81.
81. Oh, no! 81.
And this is a beautiful area. It's a beautiful marina. God bless Martinez.
Allows our athletes to come out here. It's a beautiful, perfect day. They get to play with their peers and their friends, and we're supported by a number of amazing volunteers who really make it all run. And again, they look forward to this all year, so it's a lot of fun.
My name is Tyler Crockmull. I'm the PR manager for Special Olympics Northern California.
Okay, Tyler, how long have you been doing this tournament here in Martinez?
We've been going for years and years. This is one of our biggest bocce tournaments. It's our last regional before summer games, so all the athletes are very excited because if they do well today, then they get to go to the summer games later this month.
Oh, awesome.
Davis.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Colombo Club tournament has the best food. Loaves and Fishes raises the most money, but the Special Olympics event is, all things considered, my favorite for 2 reasons. One, it perfectly illustrates how all-inclusive the sport of bocce is, and 2, no group has more fun. There is no close second.
Oh my gosh, it does!
Thank you.
Yay, team!
Oh, one more.
Good job.
Let me win.
Let me win.
But if I cannot win.
But if I cannot win.
Let me be brave in the attempt.
Let me be brave in the attempt.
And always make it a point to attend this event each year just to soak up the atmosphere.
I like to start at least 2 to 3 weeks prior to the league starting. And the reason being is because the initial start is the roughest. I mean, you get a lot of scraping, a lot of getting all indulations, level, and play is the hardest to work with. I would say, on an average, they go about 3 courts a day that I do on a probably 4 to 5 hour day. Okay, after I get the courts initially ready for play, what I do is I come out here and I first clean the courts because they always need cleaning, and then I'll drag the courts, and then I'll go water the courts, and then I'll come back and drag the courts again with the broom, and then roll them. I'll broom every court. Let's say I have 7 courts to do one day. I'll broom all 7 courts. I'll go back and I'll water all 7 courts, and then I'll start in the beginning where I started, and then I'll broom them and then roll them all the way down. I maintain them 6 days a week, Monday through Friday. Well, Sunday through Friday.
Before each evening's played, you touch them up.
Right.
Okay.
I do them. I actually do them in the morning.
Okay.
Best time of the day.
Again, this is for the purpose of educating those that don't see what's behind the scenes, and I'm just amazed with how much effort goes into this.
It is. I mean, it's not so bad once you get a routine going. I mean, once the courts are ready to play on, the routine, I got a certain routine I use, so it makes it go quick. For a person that's coming in, just not knowing what to do, it's kind of tough. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that come out here and play while I'm grooming, in the mornings. And everybody's giving me kudos, and I totally appreciate it.
I was one of them.
He's the guy you don't want to see at the other end of the court, or at your end playing against you, that's for sure. And he's just, I think he's one of the nation's finest players.
Well, Manny Roma's one of the best players I've ever seen. It's just a real gentleman. And the guy's one of the best and doesn't act like one of the best, but a real good guy. It's just, he'd be in my top 5 without a doubt.
Green team wins, green team wins, red team wins! Red!
There you go.
Red! Green team. Green, you got ball.
A big part of what we do is help ensure the growth of the sport. To that end, I contacted the Martinez Park and Recreation Department. They then asked us to host kids several times each summer, and true to form, several MBF members quickly stepped up, and we now host the kids each year. It's hard to tell who's having more fun, the kids or the instructors.
Let's go, Gritty Hawk.
You think you can score 4 points at casino? What do you think? This is looking pretty good, buddy. This is looking really good. You're gonna like this one. Look at you. Look at you.
Our league has no age
Elvis,
limit. You just need at least half your team to be over 18, and one adult must play in each game.
Where'd the red team go?
Red team!
Green shot. Let's see. Good job. One green. It was an accident.
I remember you.
I remember you too. Good job. How'd you guys do today?
I hit the Burrino and I got the first.
Good job. Okay, on the count of three, we're going to say green. 1, 2, 3. Green!
Roll really fast. You hear your name? Say here. Adrian.
Here.
Emma.
Here.
Mason. Right here. Miles. Mila.
In our league, it's not unheard of for parents to play with their kids and even grandkids. It's all about community, and as the Italians say, la familia.
Okay, I'm Bob Pentecoff. I do most of the score recording here for the Bocce Federation.
You are responsible for receiving the scores weekly, posting them, and then reporting them back to the Bocce Federation.
That's correct. We take all the score sheets that are submitted, enter them into a spreadsheet, let the spreadsheet collect the data, sort the data in, numbered, of course, the number of the wins and losses to establish a ranking, and then we publish that both at the bocce courts where we post them and on the website where our webmaster posts the same thing. And so this is week 9 that we're on right now. So for Thursday, that's 6:20. For Friday, that'll be 6:21. The team names and numbers by division are exactly the same as shown on the schedule. Spreadsheet does all the adding and subtracting for you. That accumulates over here to the side. Again, you see the numbers are in order, the team numbers, team names.
And Bob Pentecoff, we were missing a scheduler, someone to compile the wins and losses throughout the season, and I didn't know any better. It was my first year. I think it was my first meeting, and Bob Pentecoff showed up, and I swear, if Gene Rittberg, God rest his soul, the last commissioner, I thought he was going to get up and plant one on him because he was so happy that Bob was taking on the task.
Okay, and then I understand that you take this consolidated score and post them on the Bocce Federation website.
That's
everyone
correct.
can see these on a weekly basis.
That's correct. This would be current. The current completed one is for week 8. This is what I print out. It's posted at the bocce courts, and a copy is also sent to the webmaster, who will post it within a day or so on our MBF website.
Okay.
And it just instilled in me, and hopefully others, the importance of, if we didn't have a Bob Pentecoff, if we didn't have a Mike Anselmo or a Vic Delphine, because we couldn't, it would be game over.
And there were teams down there that, Rocky playing with his grandfather. And
the Kellers.
Yeah.
At least three generations playing. The fourth generation's running around the courts right now. They're ready to start playing.
It's really great.
I feel like a child. Ask my wife.
I've been playing for 9 years, since I was 7 years old, and coming down here since I was maybe 4 or 5 with my dad.
Do you have friends your age that play, or are you an island?
No, not a single one. All of them just think, some of them think it's pretty cool, some of them think it's fun.
Are you Italian, or do you pretend to be Italian?
I'm not Italian. I don't pretend to be either.
And it is the beauty of it. You got people that can't see real well, people in wheelchairs, you got kids. I mean, it's just
very showy. Stop.
Many of our families play with 2 and 3 generations on a team, with a 4th generation observing and learning, preparing for their debut in a few years. Until it's their time, we enjoy their contribution to the family atmosphere that makes every evening on the courts precious.
Everybody can play. Even if you're crippled, you still can play bocce.
This gentleman is Mr. Sante Seri. Mr. Seri is credited with building the first bocce court at Granger's Wharf some 50 years ago. Now that in itself is pretty impressive, at least to Martinez Bocce lovers, but what's even more impressive is that he was about 50 years old at the time. Yes, as the cake at his birthday celebration says, he is 100 years old this year. The faces of those who attended tell the story of the love and respect this man receives from the bocce community.
They come from Rome.
And a request from the Papa.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, I really love this. Can you have something?
He still drives himself regularly to the courts, and though his shooting days are over, make no mistake, he is still a formidable opponent in both open bocce and volo. Simply put, he is our treasured patriarch.
I'm from the center of Italy, on the Adriatic coast. The closest city is Rimini, and on south is Ancona, in between. Then you go up a little bit, is Bologna, you know. And my town is a resort town, because it's all beaches, Catholica, you know.
Through Sante's teenage years, war was breaking out in Europe. Nazi Germany invaded Poland and was marching through France. This was a distant concern to Sante until Benito Mussolini, Italy's prime minister turned dictator, chose to fight alongside Hitler's armies. Mussolini began parallel wars in France, Spain, Greece, and North Africa. At the young age of 19, Sante would be drafted into Mussolini's army. Paratrooper Sergeant Seri was sent to join the Desert Campaign in North Africa, where he fought against and was captured by the British Fifth Army under General Montgomery.
We walked for 18 days to get to Alexandria. From the other side of Cairo, we walked 18 days. We walk during the day, we sleep under the star at night on the sand, and then we walk again. And no water, 1 cup of water every night.
Sante spent the next 4 years in a Cairo prisoner of war camp. When the war ended, Sante returned to Italy, where he met Maria, fell in love, and married December 30, 1950. When the immigration quotas allowed, Sante and Maria migrated to the United States to join her family, brother Nick Pagnini and Uncle Paul Pagnini, already living in Martinez.
And tell me what happens next. Come on over here, my friend.
Well, then he's going to take one ball and try to go as close as possible to that Polino. And then the next team, he try to beat that ball.
All right, so this is an old Italian game, right?
Yes, all Italian game, that's right.
Is it only played by old Italians?
No, by all means, everybody can play.
Nice, just a great guy. I mean, to me, he's Mr. Bocce Ball Martinez. He really is. But I don't know, he's like a glow to him. You know, people see him and they just love the guy. I mean, I always said a long time ago, if the ESPN ever decided to televise bocce ball, and they put an overhead camera showing all those shots, and they had Sante being Sante, I'm telling you right now, the ratings would go through the roof. There's no doubt in my mind.
And he's had a tremendous effect on the Federation, its growth. It's by supporting it, and in the community, the turnout kind of speaks for itself. Sante, thank you so much. 100.
Thank
Fabulous.
Believe me, you get to be old, you think, oh, I'm out of the thing. Baloney. Nothing. You know, if you think young, you're young, give him a new over 100, like me. I still think to be young. That's right there. You know that. That's all it is, right there. But I sure appreciate every second of this day, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow. Have all you people do all this for me. Thank you so much.
Let's do this again next year. What do you say?